Okay, questions for Coach Williams, please go ahead. CL, go ahead first.
All right, Roy, at this point in the season, I mean, what else can kind of be said about the turnovers? It seems like that's just been a recurring deal.
CL, you're exactly right. You know, you look down there and they have 28 points off of our turnovers. We have 9 points off of their turnovers. We turn it over 20 times. They turn it over 12, but we turned it over and it turned into baskets for them on the other end. You know, you can Coach Smith used to say every turnover is carelessness or selfishness, and ours is split about 50-50. Carelessness is just what you would expect. Selfishness is when you're trying to make something that's not there and you're trying to make a great play. But it's frustrating. There's no question. We talk about turnovers. We practice. We emphasize it in practice. We give discipline points if you don't. I mean, if you do turn it over in practice, all those kind of things. But the bottom line is I haven't gotten them to understand how important the possession of the ball is. I've got to do a better job of getting them to understand borderline plays can't be made. Up on the board, the 3 things I put down, make the easy play was one of those, but I haven't been able to get them to do it. They can read it up on the board, but I haven't been able to get them to understand it and just make the easy play.
Greg Barnes, go ahead. Greg? All right, I'll come back to you, Greg.
Hey, Roy.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Yeah, internet's so sketchy here. Roy, seemed like you were screaming move quite a bit on the offensive end. How much did that affect some of the offensive issues, the lack of movement by the team?
Well, it's in my opinion, it affects it a great deal. We've had some great games against their zone by getting great movement and making a 3-point shot every now and then and getting the ball inside and being effective. But I thought their defense was much stronger than our offense today. We didn't move, and it's an unusual zone. They're big. They shred the 4 across the top, and with freshman guards, they have a difficult time trying to figure out what they want to do and how they're going to do it. But by now, again, guys, we've played this is game 20, whatever it is, 24, and yesterday was our 80th practice, but I haven't gotten it across to them yet. It is frustrating. There's no question about it. But even here last year, and we were struggling a great deal. We got great movement, and Cole made a bunch of threes. And I think B-Rob, I can't even remember. It seems like somebody else made a couple of threes. But I just think that when you're playing against their zone, you got to get the ball inside and attack the inside around the paint area, and also make a couple of shots. But early in the game, I thought we were attacking in the lane area quite a bit better than we did late in the game. We just did not attack it at all late in the game and attack it successfully. We had too many loose balls that they ended up getting.
Brendan, go ahead.
Hey, Roy. Yeah, I wanted to follow up on that. You mentioned the guys sort of stopped attacking as aggressively late. Did you get a sense? It seemed like almost, midway through the first half that was the chance. It seemed like they, I don't know if complacent is the right word, but definitely seemed to stop pressing as much as they had in the first couple of minutes.
Well, I think you've got to hold your attention and be passionate about playing for 40 minutes. And if there's an overtime, you've got to hold your focus and be passionate about playing for 45 minutes. And I can't tell you when we lost it. I kept substituting the big guys to trying to get different big guys to move more, but it was equal opportunity. Armando had 3 turnovers, Garrison had 4, Caleb 3, Dayron 3, RJ 4. So we just didn't do a very good job. Their defense was stronger than our offense was.
Andrew?
Coach, going back to what Greg asked about the movement, how much of the turnover problems is that movement? And it's not just, some people might think it's just the guy with the ball, but how much of it is a collective thing?
I think it's both, Andrew, but if a guy's not moving still doesn't mean you got to dribble between 3 guys. And if a guy's got a layup down the court, if you make a better pass, you don't have to throw it over their head. But other than those kind of turnovers, you're exactly right. It is both things. We got to have better spacing than we had tonight. We have to attack better. We have to be more aggressive. We have to get the ball in the middle, and all those things depend on guys moving and the point guard or the perimeter player being able to deliver the pass at that time. And it's, at our place, it was a one possession game, as I said earlier, down to the very end, and we shot an air ball, but it turned it into an offensive rebound for a basket. But we made some shots there at our place too. RJ got a steal, went down and laid it up. Today he got a steal and went down, and they chased him down and blocked it. And it was a little bit of difference like that. And yet just one or two plays here, we missed 2 free throws there at the end. I wanted to make the first, and then we were going to try to set a play to intentionally miss the second one, but we didn't make the first, and so it made it much more difficult at that point.
Adam Smith.
Roy, I think the first 8 minutes or so, you guys had like an 18-3 advantage in rebounding. I realize I'm going to ask you to psychoanalyze this, but I mean, do you think that in any way, as dominant as you were early and throughout rebounding, sort of lulled you into a false sense of security? Something to that nature, do you think?
I wouldn't think so. I think what it is, the guy on the other end of the court's won 1,000 games. And so you don't think he's complaining about his guys rebounding and boxing out and those kind of things. That early in the game when we were doing that, I can assure you that had to be a focus of what they were talking about, as well as boxing out and keeping us off the board. But it's every part of basketball is a two-way street. Sometimes you do something better than the other team, and then during the course of the game, they change. And today, the changes they made, we didn't adjust back well enough at that point.
Alyssa, go ahead.
Coach, I know there's no consolation in losses, but what have you seen from your guys these past 2 games to be able to come back from double-digit deficits and make this game competitive?
Well, Alyssa, you're right. I've never been one to care very much about moral victories. I've always said that every team I've ever coached is going to come back, because I believe it's the kind of kids we have. We were down 300 points in the Final Four one time and came back, shot a 3 in the second half that would have cut it to 4, but it didn't go in, and we lost the semifinals of the Final Four in 2008 that way. But it's the other team has to help you. We missed some opportunities stepping to the free throw line and missing some easy shots or getting a layup blocked after we get a steal. But I do believe we have the kind of kids that'll with our staff and the guys on the bench that have been around a long time, even they're pushing the freshmen to keep playing, and hopefully good things will happen. But, Kirby Walton's as good a shooter. I just looked over and I knew he hadn't shot it well, but 1 for 10, that's, he's 0 for 7, and Anthony's 0 for 2. So, we're 4 for 20 from three-point line, and that's not very good for us. But 0 for 10 in the first half is, you sort of dig a hole and then you start losing confidence.
Okay, Jeremiah, last one, and we'll get the players in here so we can get everybody home, please.
Coach, and you already talked about, playing against the zone of Syracuse, but initially early on, you all had control inside, but then of course, Boeheim began to get hot from the 3-point line, and UNC wasn't quite as able to keep up. So I wanted to ask, when the 3 isn't falling, what are some other things from your team that you would like to see to keep up while the other team is knocking down threes?
Well, we'd like to guard them better and not give them open threes. I mean, Buddy is 6 for 13. Well, he's done that a lot, so we should guard him better. And one time we had 2 players ran off and left him and guarded a guy that didn't have the ball. So it's communication. But you're right. If we're not making threes, we got to get the ball inside, and we got to take away threes from the other team. And that was the number one thing we put up on the board is on the defensive end of the floor, we got to take away their 3-point shot. And needless to say, we didn't do that very well tonight. But it's got to go back to the drawing board and see if we can have great practices the rest of the week and getting better. And I know, I think I heard Matt say this is the last one, and I don't even see if Josh is on here yet. But last week, guys, everybody made it out that I got mad at Josh and I left the press conference. That's not right. You go back and listen to it yourself, because Steve Kersher had said, last question. And so that's what it was. I thought it was an unusual question, and there's no It's okay. You know, I've had unusual questions the rest of my life, but I didn't get mad and storm out. It was just that I was told that this was the last question. But thank you guys very much.